39 Low Road. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Bright round doors and summery hues dot the lush, grassy hillsides of Hobbiton like wildflowers. Behind each doorway, comfortably appointed burrows wind into earth. Each one home to a hobbit or a family of the Shire's rosy-cheeked little folk. Every hobbit hole is unique, expressing the personality of its inhabitants with color and prettily adorned with gardens, furniture, and the rustic debris of everyday life. Over the hill to the north of BagEnd is a cluster of well-situated hobbit holes with commanding views. An elegant porch, cordoned by carved wooden balustrades, keeps firewood dry at number 39, the only smile of the neighborhood to boast a honey-hued front door. I really love these little statues. I've said this before, but there's just something about them that's just so warm and comfortable. The sculpts are great, the paint is great. I can't ask for much more. The Hobbit House of Farmer Maggot. Beyond the village of Hobbiton, the gentle green lands of the Shire were peppered with other hobbit dwellings, some clustered in hamlets and others standing alone. Some were typical hobbit burrows dug into hillsides and banks, but where land was flat, the small folk built above ground, roofing their homes and outbuilding with thatch. The Maggot family maintained a large farm where they grew corn, cabbages, carrots, and potatoes, among other vegetables. Farmer Maggot kept guard dogs to watch over his crops and alert him to intruders on his property, and with good reason. Certain light-fingered brandybucks and tooks had made a habit of lifting tasty vegetables and mushrooms from his fields and outside his farmhouse. But it was an entirely different sort of visitor that startled him as he chopped wood late one autumn evening. "33 Lakeside. Radiant round doors and estival colors mark the abundant and verdant hilltops of Hobbiton like wildflowers. Through each doorway, comfortably appointed burrows wind into the ground. Each smile is a cozy residence to a hobbit or a family of the Shire. Every hobbit hole is different, representing the identity of its inhabitants with vibrant hues and covered with vegetation, greenery, and the detritus of daily life. One of the few abodes tucked close to the water's edge, this hobbit hole allows a serene lookout along the peaceful lake. Accompany this with the soft smell of lavender from the garden just outside the door, and one could not wish for a more tranquil home. I think one of my favorite things about these kind of statues, at least for my collection, is the lack of violence. Most of my Lord of the Rings collection is about weapons, battles, and war, so it's nice to have some things that represent the opposite. Peace, happiness, comfort, the things that come to mind when I think of the Shire. What an amazing balance Tolkien created. BagEnd. The abiding atmosphere of BagEnd itself is one of lazy comfort. From the pretty but slightly overgrown gardens that hug its eaves to the welcoming clutter inside its labyrinthine chambers. Sprawling around the hill beneath the shade of an old oak tree whose roots twist through its halls, the grand smile reflects the gentle good humor of its host and the universal Hobbit love of simple pleasures. This Hobbit hole is immaculate. Perhaps because it's the most well-known, but the amount of detail on this particular Hobbit hole is just amazing. I think for me, it's the bricks that really stand out. If you're unfamiliar with Weta Workshop's Hobbit holes, there are now 4 versions of the BagEnd Hobbit hole. 2 are on a smaller scale, but Weta recently released 2 new versions that match the scale of all the other Hobbit holes. This is the smaller of the 2 new versions, but after seeing how well it was done, I must admit I fully regret passing on getting the big version. Lesson learned: you can't go wrong with Hobbit holes. My apologies for my lack of videos lately. I'll be getting back to my normal schedule very soon. Until next time, bye-bye.